Hi there, welcome to tropical and ever-warm Moscow, Russia. I would like to take you on a walking tour to show where regular, ordinary, usual Russians live in Moscow. I would like to show you the place the way I see it, through my and your own eyes. Let's go walk around. If you're here for the first time, my name is Konstantin and welcome to Inside Russia, where living in today's Russia explained by the insider you can trust. And if you're a returning viewer, then thank you so much, you're awesome and you rock. Please keep on coming back for more. Welcome to Moscow, Russia, a city of 20 plus million people of different nationalities, races, languages, cultures, and religions. Moscow is divided into two large parts: the old Moscow and the new Moscow. The old Moscow is actually Moscow as most of us know it. If you look at the map, old Moscow looks like an egg with the red square and the Kremlin right in the center. 10 years ago, huge amount of land was added to Moscow to actually create Greater Moscow. And that newly added land is called the New Moscow. This is the New Moscow. This is a typical bedroom New Moscow community where regular people live. We had a large snowstorm yesterday. The weather is not too bad right now. It's not snowing hard, about -3 Celsius and in the 20s Fahrenheit. This is my neighborhood. This is where I live. About 4 years ago, we moved to Moscow, and before moving my family here from the southern city of Rostov, I went through quite a bit of searching. You see, I'm not new to Moscow. I had spent here 8 years before, but mostly as a bachelor, and I lived in the old Moscow in a bachelor pad, not too far from my work. My priorities were absolutely different. I cared much about going out, drinking, meeting girls, hanging out with friends and things like that. Then, fast forward 7 years, everything changed. Michael arrived in 2016, and life happened in general. I decided to move to Moscow. To make my family comfortable here, I needed to pick the right neighborhood, the right part of Moscow. Our future place of residence had to meet two conditions. First, it needed to be not too far from my work, my office. And the second, it needed to be very suitable and comfortable for kids. And I spent a few weeks driving around Moscow, visiting different neighborhoods. Day after day, weekend after weekend. It basically took me, I'd say, a couple months to finally pick and choose this place. This neighborhood consists of, I would say, 60 to 100,000 people that are crammed onto a small area of a few square miles. Well, not too cramped by Moscow standards, because the main reason I chose this place to buy an apartment and reside is this, where I am right now, the playgrounds. Look, all these residential buildings, apartment blocks, huge ones, towers and not towers, I don't even know how to name this thing, They are, they actually surround the playgrounds, and the playgrounds are absolutely wonderful, fantastic, and great. They're large, they're new, and they're designed for kids, not just as formality by the developer, but to really enjoy. They're comfortable, they're great, not very safe, but fun. So this is what I chose. We live in one of these towers on the top floor, great view. And basically I'd like to take you around and show you what this place looks like. It's fairly typical for new Moscow. Like I said before, there's old Moscow, there's a new Moscow. Старая Москва and Новая Москва. Okay, people who reside here, they're mostly professionals, they're middle class, and there aren't any rich people or poor people. Just ordinary middle class. Why? Because all these apartments, they had to be bought by the individuals. Meaning people had to make enough money to be able to afford to pay cash up front or to have a mortgage. The old Moscow enjoys much, or not enjoys, much greater variety of, how do I say that, classes of people. Basically poor, rich, and middle class all live in Moscow, and tons of people of each class. Because the poor people can afford living there because a lot of them inherited the apartments from ancestors. It was a very common practice in Moscow. But you can't find people like that here because all these apartment blocks are brand new. The oldest is 7 years old. And we basically had to find money or means to either, buy up front or get a bank loan. It means that all of us who live here fall into certain financial category. Neither rich, not very poor. I saw about 15 neighborhoods like this one. We call them жилые комплексы. Living quarters, complexes, whatever, areas, neighborhoods. And they all had one same problem: not enough open space for kids to play. Basically, the other neighborhoods, that'd be one or two towers right where you see the parking lots, the, basketball courts, the playgrounds, because the developers here in Moscow, they've been trying to maximize their income. They've been trying to squeeze as many buildings as possible. There would be a house or apartment block here, and this particular neighborhood is the only one I saw with huge playgrounds and areas. And as soon as I saw that, I said, well, okay, I gotta show that to my wife. Basically, when we moved in here 4 years ago, they were just apartments and nothing else. Basically, we didn't have any living infrastructure, I call it. Living infrastructure, shops, stores, different services, things like that. Now, 4 years later, things have changed. I'm gonna take you to school, kindergarten, well, actually schools and kindergartens to show you what's going on. Meanwhile, this is called communal service. Trash removal, Russian style. The guy was cleaning the streets of snow. You see that device right there, and then he just picked up some trash and driving around looking for a dumpster, I think. So back in the days, there wasn't anything here. To buy some groceries, just very basic stuff, we had to go to nearest shopping center, which is like a 10-minute walk. But then, fast forward 4 years, we have tons of stuff. And I use this little moms and pops places all the time, and I'd like to show you. Take you, this is a bakery, a lot of coffee here, and goodies. It's open from 8 to 10 p.m., 8 in the morning, 10 p.m. Можно поснимать, здрасте. It just opened recently, and the guys make great coffee. По-английски говорите? Okay, cheesecake. This is their goodies, Я потом приду что-нибудь купить. Love croissants. I usually get a regular croissant with coffee. Not every morning, but on Sundays and Saturdays. And it's all freshly baked, and also the freshly baked bread. A great thing that I walked in to show you guys how a bakery looks like is simultaneously I warmed myself up a little bit because it's tropical and then we're warm Moscow after all. This is winter. About 4 years ago, right after we moved in here, I was talking to my wife Natasha and she was suggesting, she said, listen, why don't we open a little coffee shop here? Because there isn't one. And, you know, we can't get any coffee in the morning. And I was thinking, well, it's a good idea, but you know what? It's too complicated now because Michael was 1 year old and, you know, it's too much stuff going on at work. And literally, there wasn't anything here. And now, on every corner, literally within like 100 steps from the bakery I just showed you, there are 3 other bakeries and coffee shops, okay? And all have very good coffee. You see, that's another playground, basketball courts in the winter, it's skating ring, and there's an open space over there. That's playground, another one. Now, there's a huge problem with this place, but anywhere in Moscow, if you go, you will find same kind of a problem. That's parking. I mean, it's in the afternoon of a regular day, and look how many cars parked here. And most of people are professionals, remember? And they are at work in the offices. Imagine what happens after 6 p.m. when they come back. It's hell. Okay, this is trash removal. Basically, we take our, oops, almost was hit by a car from behind. Nice guy, huh? Basically, we just take our trash into these dumpsters right here, and every morning it's removed. It's pretty decent way to dispose of your trash. Now, I personally love this playground. I take Michael, my son, who is already 5 years old here, all the time in the weather like this because of one little or big reason. That is the landscaping. You see, instead of making a flat playground, they made hills. And they are fantastic. We go sledding here all the time. You see people taking their children sledding even right now. Whew. This is the biggest fun that we've had in this neighborhood so far. You know, sledding, oh my God, incredible. You see how large this playground is? And it's pretty cool in the winter because of so much fun. And you know, for kids here. And it's absolutely insanely great in the summertime because all those, quite a few trees, and they're all green, and it looks really, 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 really cool. Russians love playing outdoors, by the way. If you look at this place from up top, you will see that this is basically a square with each side about 1.5 miles, and right in the middle there are schools and kindergartens, and this is where they are. Michael's kindergarten is right there, the last one, that greenish building. This beige is another kindergarten. And this is a school. You know, in Russia we do not have division for, like preschool, regular school, high school. It's just one school, grades 1 to 11 in one building, and this is it. There are a few more schools here, and okay, let's count. One kindergarten, another one school, that's same kind of school right there, and also 2 more kindergartens, 2 schools and 4 kindergartens. Okay, if you look at that row of apartment blocks, I'm getting cold and I have hard time speaking right now. On the other side of those apartment blocks, same setup, a few schools and a few kindergartens. And if you look at this place, then you will find that there are 5 or 6 schools and around 10 kindergartens, something like that. This is what inside of a Russian school looks like. There's a stadium. It's a pretty cool stadium actually. Kids go do physical education there. And this is the building of the school itself. Every school like this consists of, say, 1,500 students. I don't know how many teachers. And basically this is a community, a place in Moscow where families who buy apartments and move in here, they usually have kids, and not just one kid. Multi-children families, how we call them. So there are tons of kids, and they go to these nearby schools and kindergartens, and all schools and kindergartens are surrounded by this huge fence. Well, it's a big city, you know. There's a large soccer field right here, and that's just what I call it, a school mile, because there's an entire mile, and schools and kindergartens are located along that mile. This is how the situation with parking looks like right now when everyone's out in the city working. Imagine what's gonna happen a little bit later. Crazy. So that's the bakery that I stopped by. There's another dumpster. Now, let's see what we have for little stores, food and non-food. There is a school store. You can find notebooks, pens, little toys, things like that. Let's go check it out. All require masks, of course. Здрасте, погреться пришел. Да, я хожу без перчаток. Фух. Все, спасибо, пошел дальше. Okay. Warmed up a little bit and go into what's next. Microbrewery. Okay, I won't go in there, but you can find all kinds of crafts, locally brewed beers here inside. A small store, small place. There's another bakery called Panini. Let's go inside. Compare with the first one. Same, they open at 8 a.m., close at 10 p.m. Woo. It's cold outside. It's a little more quiet and spacious here. Здрасте. Можно поснимать у вас? Freshly baked goodies, bread. Хотели 4 года назад. She's asking me if I'm a possible competitor and want to open a business. Что есть показать? Мы хотели 4 года назад открыть бизнес здесь. Никого не было еще, да? А сейчас вон на каждом шагу.
Ну да, на
Ну, интересно. So, coffee. Спасибо. You know, I would love to have some hot chocolate right now. You see, we Russians, we are pretty much like other people. We like to stay warm, freshly baked bread and goodies, and hot coffee. And we also like tea. We drink tea a lot, but we cannot even compete with the Englishmen in drinking tea if there was a competition. Another reason why I love this place is there's very little crime. I have yet to hear of a single petty crime happening here in 4 years. Things probably happen, but they are so minor and so few that we don't ever hear about them, okay? As an example, I'll tell you a story. Yesterday, me and my son Michael, we went out to play in the snow. There was a blizzard, but we love going out in the weather like that and play in the snow, especially my son Michael. And we were walking right here, right around this place, and I noticed 3 large bags, a duffel bag, backpack, and a plastic bag full of something. And, you know, I figured someone had left it there. And there was a lady coming by and she said, yeah, I live in that house, that apartment building, and I see that the bags here unattended for the 2nd day in a row, okay? It means that no one took those bags, not stole them, but just took them because they were not attended, you know, for basically for 2 days. So just to be safe than sorry, I called cops and notified them about, you know, unattended bags, but they just came and took it. Nothing happened. And we continue. We just visited this bakery right here. And what's down further? Gosh, there's another coffee shop right next to this bakery, right? Look, this is the bakery, and this, what, 15 meters away, there's another coffee spot, coffee shop, whatever you call it. It's called Mango. Здрасте, да, всем привет.
Вы закончите?
Дай просто показать. You can buy coffee here. Another coffee stop. Decent coffee here. They have an Instagram account, Coffee 10 a.m. I tried it, pretty good. There's also a spa salon here. You can cut your hair, you know, do nails and things like that inside. Все, я закончил.
Блин, я хотела свой инстаграм.
А я показал ваш
Я помашу
инстаграм.
рукой.
Я снимаю, это не блог, это не стрим. По-английски можете что-нибудь сказать?
Нет, вот она может.
О, скажите по-английски.
А что сказать?
Ну, что-нибудь, что у вас тут? What do you have here?
We have a coffee shop and you can come here and drink the best coffee in this area, in this district, I guess. So,
District. I say neighborhood.
yeah.
Neighborhood, okay. Best coffee in the neighborhood? I doubt it, but I'll take it with a grain of salt.
The grade of salt.
Grain of salt, you know. Не берите в голову. Okay, excellent, thank you. А вы из салона красоты, да?
Нет, я здесь. Кофейня
Тоже
вот,
здесь?
да.
They have all kinds of coffee here. Espresso, Americano, cappuccino, flat white, rough, mochaccino, iced. Why don't I try an iced coffee right now? Don't you think it'd be a really good idea? Nah, no. My question of the day is, what do you guys think of this place? Is it so different from where you live, or is it somewhat similar? Do you like it, or perhaps a few things that caught your eye and you dislike them a lot? Let me know down below in the comments here, please. Okay, let's go. Snow is picking up a little bit. Ah, we have atelier. How do I say that? All around fix all around store. You pretty much can make your keys, sew your buttons, you know, anything. Atelier. Pharmacy. Not gonna go inside, it's just basically where you can buy drugs. Pharmacy. Then what's next? A convenience store. Little convenience store. Basically, you can pick up anything, you know, out of basic foods like bread, butter. Why would you want to go buy bread here if you have bakeries all around you with freshly baked bread? Okay, but people get bread here: milk, butter, bananas, you know, fruits, veggies, basic stuff. Pop sodas. All right, let's go check it out. If they let me film inside. Здрасте, я погреться просто. Фух, холодно.
Погреться?
Да, хожу, снимаю все. This is beer chasers. Tons of ice cream. We Russians love ice cream, specifically in the weather like this. Liquor over there. Basic stuff. Fruits, veggies. You know, bottled water, soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, fruit juices, dairy. Was it dairy or diary? Waffles. There's an ATM. It's getting dark outside. Overall, this is a very convenient place to live in Moscow. I could have picked up a place inside old Moscow, you know, but to me this place wins because there is so much more space. Well, granted, if we want to travel to the very center, like the Red Square, the Kremlin, then it takes longer time from this place than if we lived in the old Moscow. And it takes, you know, extra 15-20 minutes by car. But the advantages of living here, first of all, is space. Playgrounds for kids, schools, and kindergartens within very walking distance. Quality of air, because it's very, very clean, not as congested as inside of Moscow. We are basically surrounded by the woods, like a real forest. How they built this place, they took and they cut trees inside of the forest and they just built apartment blocks here. The problem here is the biggest problem, and it's really a bother, is parking. Because if you come after 7 p.m., you have really hard time parking. If you come after 10 p.m., oh, forget it. You have to drive and walk for minutes to you know, park your car someplace. If I was asked for an advice for any Russian family who plans on moving to Moscow, I would advise this place because I like it very much. It fits all criteria that we have for a place of residence, except for, you know, it's not as close to the very center of Moscow. That's about it. That right there is another neighborhood, which is kind of a same idea, but much older one. It was built in the 70s. There were a bunch of greenhouses here in this area, and then people who worked the greenhouses, they lived here. This place was specifically built for them. There's a large boiler that produces heat, that heats up pretty much all apartment blocks here. And there are tons of different stores, you know, a concert hall on the other side, tons like a sports school, a bunch of different, sport activities for kids. And just to show you what's around the corner, another coffee shop. Not gonna go inside this one, just take my word on that. And they have one of the best coffees here. My second choice. Coffee right there. And you can also get in there and take your picture taken. The glass crafters, they sell glasses. Spa salon, a little one, or actually it's not spa salon, it's a beauty shop. Amazon pickup, well, in Russia it's Ozon, it's a local domestic company called Amazon, but it's the same thing. It's if you want something to be delivered and you order online, you pick it up here. Very convenient. It's right around the corner. Another fix-it-up place. Dry cleaners, tobacco shop, smoke shop. Another pharmacy. We have a little medical clinic in one of the further buildings. A little market, not like a convenience store, but a market for fruits and vegetables with quite a few vendors. And lack of parking spots all around. Same old story. I personally love living here. My wife Natasha, she doesn't like winter, doesn't like snow much. And I see ourselves moving to someplace warm in the future. But so far, this is an optimal place for a family in Moscow, because on one hand, we have everything that Moscow has to offer, all the good things. Cultural, entertaining, sports. 20 million people, 20 plus million people live here. On the other hand, this place is not as crowded as the old Moscow, and clean air, very little congestion, just so many places we can walk and get into the woods, walking distance. We don't have to drive anywhere, And wildlife, I saw moose nearby one time, and there's a fox running around in winter nights here. So, fantastic place. Our family is an average, fairly well-to-do family in Russia. Middle class, perhaps a little upper middle class. And this is where we and people like us live in Moscow, Russia. Thanks for walking with me, and I will see you next time.